Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction...
Second floor.
If you...
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, nurse.
Jak maluch, po co masz znowu?
Nie. Chodzę sobie.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir.
Did he really? It's a good...
All members of staff have already read about your new blood
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swan...
How are...
Not good, to say the least. We're
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks...
Do you think this hospital can survive?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but... How do we beat an invisible killer?
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift.
Most of them. Is there a...
It would be inappropriate for me to speak...
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as...
Why should his age be a...
I guess it's fair to say he's always...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please...
No, I may disagree.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed.
I'm Milton Hooks.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks. I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old ha-
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you...
Sklepikarze?
How is this?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by a patient.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns.
You keep people alive, you're up.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital?
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even...
It sounds like...
Yesterday.
You let...
Go there, you...
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
Kurwa, sklepikarze.
Safer here than anywhere else on the East End.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the...
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal?
You keep calling me mortal. Why is...
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here.
It's only a cover to hide from my end.
Who are these...
I cannot say for sure, but I sense there are...
The staff...
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of...
I see. Don't worry.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere.
And why do you believe...
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am.
Please, describe to me.
I can hear my body crumble.
I see. Have you ever heard of...
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neuro...
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
I'm curious to know who you were before.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Fear and disgust on every
Pierdoli, że ja mam
corner.
z
The daily routine.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet.
Boże,
My name is Pippa Hawk.
And I'm Dr...
Well,
pipą gadam.
How would you...
it's...
You must... Nurse...
What?
Nurse Hawk...
I,
How long...
well,
You're right. How long...
well, long enough.
You're right. How is the...
Well, not...
Said what?
Why is...
Mild?
How is the...
Well, not well.
Why does Milton dis...
I don't know. Just ask him.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Kurwa, z wszystkimi gadać. Ja pierdolę.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently...
You guessed right, Doctor.
How is your...
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask you,
It's the pain.
who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me.
You don't seem worried.
My face hurt.
Can I do it?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's...
In her madness, she never referred...
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood.
She could decide to bite less.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay.
Where will you stay?
I really don't want...
No offense.
You were not.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
How Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sorry.
What do you mean? You remained perfectly nice and polite.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a...
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his
Why did...
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed.
You dared to end...
I'm just a man trying to help his friend.
Do you know Tom Watts? The bartender from the Turtle. I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the help.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing...
People are...
How could it be?
What is the general
The
situation?
situation has always been tough.
Who leads the gang?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang...
Clay Cox? Przecież to...
Have you made...
Not really.
You never...
Appreciate.
What do you do?
I manage it.
Co jest, maluch?
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop?
That's a very...
Nie,
A-
bo kurwa... Czytam.
How do you...
I feel...
You're in... Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
The pain. It's here again.
It's locked, all right.
Gdzie jest to pierdolnięte? Mogę wyjść. Kurwa, ta postać nawet od wibla. A kup. Tu są drzwi otwarte.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye.
Są gadały, nie? Ten śpi. Ten.
What a blundering idiot.
What can I do for you?
Thank you, Nurse. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
No,
Really? Why are you...
I don't want to talk. My throat...
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're...
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat?
So painful, I'd rather...
I'm sure you realize...
Not really.
I see.
Yes,
Tell me,
I don't want to...
how...
So painful.
I'll let you get...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
O, tu jakaś gościowa se
Good
siedzi.
evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How...
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer.
What do you think of your...
I have had the uttermost reservation.
Is there something in particular...
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
What can you tell me about...
Not much to say.
May I ask if you...
I'm a teacher by profession.
Are you really that rich?
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he reign.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Gott.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Waste your time with me.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr.
Since your tenure in this
Let's just say
carelessness,
we're here to save lives. The people who...
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and...
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of it...
I know we've never met before, but I believe this...
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed.
There is no need for such animosity between us.
That is one point we could agree on, and that is
It seems we cannot... I don't know what...
I don't...
And what...
I said...
Be careful.
I only want you to admit you...
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like...
I don't know...
I don't...
And what...
I said...
Be careful.
I only...
This is...
You see?
Thank you for your... Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed.
I see.
I'm half...
Tell me about...
I'm just a... I'm a cop.
Are you...
Well...
I won't lie to you about it.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed?
In other circumstances, you would be right. Tell me about...
Strickland and Ackroyd.
What do you mean? Goodbye for now, Mr.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot. My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening, sir.
Come now, we can handle this.
The daily routine.
now.
It's locked. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive
Jak cię Malach
mutation.
idzie?
But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching.
Dobrze.
The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.